Hello and welcome to the tutorial. This is going to be a very simple tutorial on how to control the behavior of an animator object based on user input. For example, if the user inputs 1 or presses the number 1 on the keyboard, the animator object will have to perform a certain action. Similarly, if the user inputs 2, the object will have to perform a different action. And before we start building this game, make sure you have Unity 3D installed. I've provided a link to download Unity 3D in the blog associated with this video. So let's get started. Let's open Unity, new project, click on new, give it a name, let's call it animation game. Make sure it's a 3D version and save it in a location in which you want to access it later, and click on create project. So while Unity is opening up, let's discuss about the input file that I have. So as you can see, this is the input file that I have. It's a .fbx file, and this video contains an animated version of the actions recorded in the lab using motion capture cameras. Well, really, you could just download .fbx files from the internet. I will try providing a few sources as to where you can download these files in the blog. So we're just waiting for Unity to open up. There we are. Right, here it is. So before we start, make sure you configure your Unity to show you the animator window. How you can do that is go to Window, click on Animation and click on Animator so that you have this Animator tab open in your Unity. Now, we need to import our FBX file into this Unity. So to do that, go to Assets, right-click on Assets and click on Import New Asset. And I have it on my desktop in the game folder, and here is our FBX file. Import. Here we have our FBX file in the assets. Now, if you want to see what's the video inside this file, click on it, go to the animation tab and click on play. Here you can see this person taking a boxing stance, trying to do a little bit of boxing and just taking a side step or two and so on. So that's what's in the video. So like we discussed the game to be, a few actions are associated with the user input. And to associate these clips to the user input, we need to first have action clips. And since this is a unified file of all the actions, we first need to divide it into separate motion clips. And to do that, see, these are the clips that are there here. Let's make this a full screen. Right. Now, let's name this clip as stance, since I want it to be a stance. And I want to clamp the range of this action from frame 216 to 430. And let's see what action is between those frames. When you press play here, you can see the player taking a boxing stance. So that is what I want my first action to be. And I press on apply. So my first clip is created. To create the second clip, I press on the plus button here and I want to name it box. This is where it does this boxing action. Click on clamp range, and the frame ranges for this action is going to be from 430 to 525. And if you want to see this action, this is where the player boxes, and apply. I've created my second clip. For my third clip, let's name it step. clamp range from 730 to 900. Apply. And for my fourth and final clip, let's name it win, like a winning stance. And the clamp ranges are from 1825 to 1911. And this is the winning pose. Right. Now, since we've created these motion clips, you can see the 4 clips that we've created, and you can see these clips when you expand this asset here. See, these are the clips that we've created. Now, for any object, for any game object to appear in the scene here or in the game, we need to have it in the hierarchy. This is the hierarchy window. So let's drag and drop it in the hierarchy window, right? You can see it has opened up in the inspector here. Now, we need to create an animation controller so that you can control this animation. How you can do that is go to Assets and right-click, go to Create, and you have an animator controller. Click on that. And let's name it controller. Right. Now, when you go to the animator window, you can see these tabs have been created. Right. Now, let's place these 4 motion clips that we have created into the animator. You can just select all of them at once and drop them here. Just separate them out so that we can see all these clips that we have. Now here I am intentionally leaving out a step so that you will understand the importance of this step and the concept of state when I show the step to you later on in the video. Right, now we've successfully created an animation controller, but this controller needs to be associated with this game object. How we can do that is click on the animation and animator object in this scene, and here you can see this space for the controller. You need to associate this controller to this object, so I'm just dragging it and dropping it in here. Now you've associated the controller with the game object. Now, what else do you need? Now we need a C# script so that we can associate each of these motion clips to a user input. Now how we can do that is, again, go to this game object, click on Add Component, and here right at the end click on New Script, and you can name that action, maybe. Yeah, just call it action, create an ad. Right, let's open this up. Right, what we do here is first create a public animator variable called AR so that this can later be used to hold the animator object. Here in start, we are trying to create an object for the class animator. So how we do that is AR equals get component animator, and it's a function call. Right, we've created an object to the class animator. Now here, anything which is written under the update is called for every frame. So what do you want to call for every frame? Here we want to associate all these action clips to user inputs. So I will say if my input dot get key up. So get key up is it takes in the input when I press it and the key raises up. You can use get key down, which takes the input when you press the key, right? So get key up of 1. If the input is 1, then I want it to play action clip 1. So AR dot play of the first clip, which is named stance. Similarly, sorry for that, I have a semicolon here. Similarly, if the input is 2, I want it to play the action box. Right, so let's make use of the copy paste here. Copy, and we have 4 actions. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now here, if input is 2, we want it to play the box. And if the input is 3, we want it to play the step. If the input is 4, we want it to do the winning pose. Right, here's our script. Don't forget to save it. Just press Command S if you're on a Mac or Control S if you're doing it on a Windows. And minimize this. And let's go back to Unity. Right, let's go to the game area. Before you press game, play, go to the console and clear out any errors that you have or any syntax errors that you have. Make sure you got that handled. Go back to project, go to game, and press play. Now it's in the game mode, and I press 1, it's taking the stance. When I press 2, it is doing that boxing action. When I press 3, it should do a sidestep. Very good. And when I press 4, it should do a winning pose. Very nice. Now, in the same time, when you press 1 and press 1 again, you will notice that it does not perform any action. Now, this is the time I tell you about the step that we left out there. Get it out of the game mode. Go to the animator window. Now, you see what's happening? After each of the actions, it is not going back to the starting state. So it is not able to repeat the action. So in order to repeat an action, what you need to do is right-click here, create an empty state, and create a transition from entry to new state. Delete this transition. Make transition from box to new state, stance to new state, step to new state, and win to new state. Let's figure out how to get rid of this transition. Set it as default so that on entry it goes to the new state, and after every action it goes to the new state. Right, save this, go back to console, make sure there are no errors, and then go to game and press play. Now it's in the game mode, and when I press 1, it does the boxing stance. And when I press 1 again, it is now able to do the stance again. See, you now see the difference. After every action, it goes back to the initial pose. So that is what we've done when we've made the transitions from each of these states to a particular state. So after every particular action, it goes back to the starting pose. Now, we have successfully created this game. And in order for you to distribute this game or make it a standalone so that you can play it on any computer, you need to make a build. And to make the build, you need to go to File, Build Settings. Make sure you select the platform that you want to make this build for, PC, Mac, and Linux standalone. And here your target platform is Mac OS, and you click Build. And you want to name it Animation Game again. And I want to save it in this folder, Game, and save. So we're just waiting for it to create the build. Let's get out of the right. So the build is successful, and as you can see in the game folder, we have the animation game build. When you open it up, it asks you for a screen resolution, keep it at the highest, and say play. Very nice. You have it here in full screen, and you can share this file to another computer or your friends, and when you hit 1, it does that stance beautifully, and when you hit 2, it does a boxing action. When you hit 4, it does a running stance. Beautiful. And here we've finished creating this game successfully. Thank you for watching the tutorial. See you for the next tutorial. Thank you.